Hey everybody, welcome back to another jog video. It's your boy Jake, the one and only, the man, the myth, maybe not so much a legend, but definitely, maybe not even a myth, but I'm definitely a man. In this video, we're gonna do something shorter again, on the shorter side of things ideally. And I just kind of wanted to continue with the American Conservatism series as well, and throw in another addition in here and point out the paradox of the concept of a free market. The phrase small business specifically references much more, localized markets of that nature, right? Businesses with a handful or a few dozen employees, rarely something with massive assemblies or warehouses. And free market rhetoric is associated with more prosperity, more competition, more options. But this is not only an illusion, but it's the opposite of reality. An unrestricted market with no government involvement is the opposite of a free market. This unhinged market will allow monopolies to only grow larger and larger, with the biggest corporations hoarding so many resources they can squeeze or buy out competitors. Competing businesses will have to cut corners and cut costs where appropriate, just to compete with the mega corporations. And you see this a lot with not just cutting labor costs, right? Cutting the investment that you have in your own workers, right? Because that also invests in the quality of the actual output of that labor. But also, more broadly, just that it could be anything from the quality of the actual goods and services, the tools that they use within that place and business, even like the cleaning products with like keeping the place clean, using certain utensils or from certain buyers, right? Bulk buying certain things, taking into account certain waste costs, but also enduring that because bulk buying manages to outweigh that. Still, just things like this, just messy planning, and it's not very good, at least in my view. The free market is a paradox because the more regulation it has, the freer it actually becomes. With an unrestricted, unhinged market, you see the least freedom possible, the least economic opportunity possible. I mean, even in modern American market, right? Imagine trying to start a small business grocery store to compete against Walmart and Sam's Club and Costco and other big name grocery stores, right? Jewel, right? Aldi. How well would that go? What about a movie theater, right? I mean, small business movie theaters exist, but not without extreme capital to help that incentive. And of course, you'd still have to compete with those big name brands, right? That have the higher quality theaters, the higher quality screens, the cheaper tickets, and they still manage to pay their employees very little. Now, this is just the game at play. This is just the way that things are kind of taken into account. And when things are allowed to just go without any reach or check, then they start to really, become the opposite of what's alleged to be a free market. The capitalists and elites and imperialists in power know this, but they continue to spend money on propaganda outlets like modern megacorporation American media, in order to keep the consciousness of the people in check, to keep their minds in check, right? To keep the rhetoric, the words, the discussion, the discourse around cultural outrage, around Chinese spy balloons, around, around targeting certain groups of people to make them look criminal, as traditional culture of white supremacy and the sickness of it in America does. But so long as all of these people have so much coalesced resources and power, they'll do whatever they want. And if they have the money to spend on what we perceive as information outlets, which of course we kind of all know now is not really true at all. I mean, trust in American media, I'm pretty sure is lower than American politicians, but I'll have to check that video for another time. It's just kind of indicative of how bad things are. Things are just, the corruption is everywhere. It's infecting everything. And that's because the pursuit of profit ruins and corrodes the integrity of our society. What we need isn't just more regulated markets, more control and oversight from the people. What we need isn't just an economy that works for everyone instead of a very small few. We need a much more cooperative, collectivized economy, focusing on both creating controlled outputs and controlling what leftover markets may be there after we kind of transition to a more accountable and accounted for way of growing a civilization, really, and running things and making sure everybody's needs are met and kind of having nice things along the way, too. So just kind of wanted to point out this small little thing. Don't want to go too ham or anything like that, but I figured it's just kind of an interesting point to have, and it'd be nice to throw in another addition to this series. So hopefully you understand what I'm getting at. Let me know what you think. Hope you're doing well. Take it easy, and thanks again.